Lots of us know how to play.
This shouldn't be a long meeting.
No, it should be pretty quick.
So I guess I'll start for lack of having a chairperson.
That's
Is that
appropriate.
okay? Just wanted to thank everybody for volunteering to serve on the committee. It's a really beneficial program, helps with the long-term budgeting process, and it would never happen without the volunteers to make it go forward. I did do up an agenda for tonight, and I put election of officers down at the bottom, and I don't know why I did that. It probably should have been under the call to order, so if nobody minds, I'd like to move that up to the next item, and call for nominations for chair, a vice chair, and a secretary, starting with the chair. And then the chairperson can start the meeting.
Well, I'd like to nominate Mr. Mora as chair.
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion?
Are you accepting of it, Rob? Would you?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Right,
fine.
because any one of
It's
us
CIP,
here
it's not
could
heavy
stand up
lifting.
and do this.
That's
10
fine.
years of it,
I'm
you
really
know
good
what
at
I mean?
nominating. I've only been here 3 years.
Well,
This
you
is my
know,
first, so.
I used to love having, some of our, elders here, and at the drop of the hat, it would be first to nominate one of your elders, just before they looked at you, and then said, "You're it."
I think Peter Burnett has done it for quite a number of years.
I nominated him precisely a number of times. So if you are willing to do that,
If the board so chooses, I will fulfill it.
shall we take a vote? Is there any other?
Well, I
Nominations?
nominated him, and does someone
You
want to
can
second?
have more than one nomination, you
Okay.
know? We come right out of ZBA, we like talking about stuff.
Well, that was 2 nights ago.
Yeah, it's all good. All right, shall we have a vote? All in favor of Mr. Mora? Aye. Anybody against?
Congratulations.
It's all you.
Okay.
You want to sit over here?
Nope. Next
Where
week.
the target is.
Next week I'll do it.
Yeah, really, I just thought I'd be willing to move.
Next time.
Does he get the gavel too, or?
All right. All right, so we've nominated a chair. Next, we have to nominate a vice chair. Have any nominations for vice chair?
Well, I'll nominate Mr. Bogert.
I'll second.
Is that appropriate?
I don't know why not.
I was looking for the wisdom of.
No, thank you very
'cause
much
I'm
for the
new to
wisdom,
the-
but
That's fine.
But you know a lot.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure,
Yeah, it's okay.
being a counselor, I
Yes.
wouldn't,
Right.
that's all.
no, that's fine.
All right, we have a nomination and a second. Any other nominations out there? No? All right, well, I'll call that to a vote. If you're in favor of Mr. Bogert as vice chair, raise your hand. Any opposed? That was unanimous. All right. And next, we have secretary. Nomination for secretary, anyone? Tara, I'll nominate you.
Okay. Why not?
Right.
I guess
I'll
just keep-
second that.
Second that. Any other nominations for secretary? You accept that, sir?
Yeah, I'm assuming all I have to do is keep track of the minutes, or?
Yeah.
Oh,
she'll-
no, there's a quiz at the end. of
Oh,
it.
perfect.
All
All
in
you have
favor?
to do is keep track.
You have to order the pizza and.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Oh, we vote in favor of me?
Oh, all in
Yeah.
favor.
Oh, okay.
You're now
Yourself?
the secretary.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
But you also have to make sure the posting happens, that we are posted. I know that the planning board will probably make sure it's done, but I have found in my past history, if it's not done, it falls on the secretary.
Gotcha.
So
Make sure it's
make sure
posted.
it's on the website, and that's where I was told it only has to be.
That's right.
And then this whole proceeding is legal,
All right. I can do that.
non-questionable.
Sounds good.
Wow.
All right, and
Scott?
and Scott, you are the recording secretary this evening?
Yes.
All right. Scott, what's your last name?
Last name is Pelchat, Pelchat.
You're not familiar with each other.
I've met him a couple times. I'm just not the best with names.
I'm a huge fan.
And we have Kathy with us, the planning director, as the planning director. So next on the agenda is discussion of the process and organization of meetings. Kathy, do you want to go over that?
Sure, I can do that. Well, tonight is really just the organizational meeting, primarily to elect the officers, as we did tonight. There will be, you've got, maybe I should go through your packets, just so that you're familiar with the information
And the scoring.
and the scoring. So you have a schedule, and on the back of that, you had the original committee members list. I gave you a replacement list tonight because Carolyn and Mike volunteered to serve on the committee and filled those 2 vacant slots. The budget information that is contained is from the current city budget, and included in that is a description of the projects that were funded out of in the 2023-24 budget. And expenditures to date is your next sheet. The next sheet is your CIP scores from the 2022 CIP process. You have both enterprise and non-enterprise funds that are broken out separately. I don't know, are you familiar with the difference? Non-enterprise funds, that would be out of the general fund, grant monies, things of that nature. Enterprise funds are departments that are a source of revenue, public works, sewer payments, water payments, things of that nature. So the funds that they collect from their service fees are considered the enterprise funds and are used to fund certain projects for those departments.
Pardon, I have a question. Is that really all of Public Works, or is it more like sewer, more like water?
Yeah, water and sewer primarily.
But that's not Public Works.
No,
Public Works is required.
It's just the sanitary sewer fund and
Right.
the water department. And Public Works is on the enterprise. Public Works is on both. But Public Works on is it the enterprise fund?
They have enterprise
It's
fund
just,
and non-enterprise.
Yeah. It's just the sanitary sewer fund that's on the
All right.
enterprise.
And they only fund their own projects? They don't fund projects for other departments?
Not the sanitary sewer fund, no. It's just used for those projects. And then you have, this is probably what you're gonna be referring to the most throughout the process. This is the scoring criteria. And when you go through, and the various departments will come in over the next 2 meetings and make presentations and do their best to convince you why their projects are the most important to the city and why they should get funded first. And after listening to all of those presentations, then you'll use the criteria on this sheet to score the various projects, and then we'll tally those scores and then rank them in the end. The CIP is not, just, and I know all of you who have been on the CIP before know this, but we've got some new members. The CIP is not a budget, it's a plan that the city will use to, it's an advisory document, I guess is the best way to put it. Ouch, I do that all the time. I need a cutout here. I'm sorry. My right knee is so bruised. This is my third meeting this week. You should see what my knee looks like from hitting on this thing.
That is an awful spot at this table.
Oh, I'm telling you. So anyways, it's an advisory document to help guide the city councils and the city manager throughout the budget season on what you as representatives of the city feel are the most beneficial projects and should be funded sooner rather than later. It is a really important document. I'll tell you, I haven't done a CIP for a city for a while. The process with the city is a little bit different than it is in the smaller towns. But the end product is about the same, and the way the CIP is used during the budget process is pretty much the same. So Rob, having done a city CIP more recently than I, can jump in and correct me anytime.
No, it is a great tool that the city manager and council use to help forecast what we need to do or what projects we need funded for the next 6 years. And it's good for helping Public Works and the water department kind of come together and decide, oh, we need to do this road, maybe we should pave this at the same time, we're gonna do this water main all down this road. So, it's really very powerful in how we forecast the best bang for our buck. And to get a good look at, oh, we need a fire truck and maybe not this year, but in 5 years down the road, we need a ladder truck or we need an ambulance. So it's good information to at least forecast. It's a good planning tool.
And then, of course, the rest of the packet are the I hate to say wish list, but it is almost a wish list, from all of the various departments. There'll be two presentations, two departments presenting at next week's meeting. Parks and Rec will go first, because that definitely will take less time than Public Works. Public Works will be a lengthy one. And then the following week, there are three because they were all smaller in scale. That'll be water, fire, and police at the last meeting. And then after that meeting, the committee won't meet again until, let me get my calendar.
Then we have the October 26th meeting, and that's
That's right,
just
the
the public input meeting.
Sometimes yes,
And sometimes we have some.
no, but sometimes
Somebody shows up.
it's full.
And what was that? I think a couple years ago, we had one person turn up, and they addressed specifically one project that DPW had just addressed for a bridge, I believe, out in the Weir somewhere.
And, well, in Gale Avenue, at the end of Gale Avenue, they
Yep.
wanted that, something there for kayaks and everything.
Yep, so if you think the public's not paying attention, they really are, because some people are very much in tune with everything going on.
And would they know about what the projects are from watching, or are these accessible to the public, these spreadsheets?
Have you put these up on the
You-
website?
Usually,
past?
there's a tab for capital improvement, and I've uploaded a copy of the overall packet and whole schedule on the website, just so that if somebody was at
Somebody's
home and they wanted to
interested.
download it, they could.
Okay,
Um,
I'll talk with Kalina and get that done tomorrow.
And
then.
usually, Lakes Region Planning Commission asks for a copy.
All right, I'll send one up to them.
So, they use it to compile, like, capital improvement processes from all the communities within their, in the district.
Do they want this packet, or do they just want the final,
Just the final.
just the final?
Yes, sir.
Chair. how many deep in the recommendations usually get funded?
I think it's difficult to really put a number on that. Counselors might have more knowledge on that than I do. But I think it has to do with what's remaining in the budget after everything's said and done. If they might have, just gonna make up a number, say $500,000 for the wish list of capital improvement, then they look at our list and say, oh, well, they prioritized A, B, C, and D as the highest, and they might pick B, but then they might pick Z all the way down the bottom because it was a really good community outreach program, or it was a park that didn't get scored that well. So
For the third year in a row?
yeah, so sometimes it kind of goes like that, and that's all at the discretion of the city council, and the city manager will weigh in on that. He'll look at how we've scored everything, and they'll have that discussion at city council. So it's really on what that remaining budget number is each year, and that varies with, the inflation rate and building permits and,
Can we speak more on the scoring?
Yes.
So on this here, when you look at your scoring, you're going to look at these projects that each department wants. And it's going to be scored when you look at it. 10 points for your infrastructure improvement. You could score how you feel in there anywhere on those 10. And once again, it's all going to be a balance of what it is. It doesn't, you don't say 8 here and 3 here. It just comes out, I gave it a 15. But in your mind, when you do it, does the project improve the economic condition? Has the department head ranked this project to high quality, when they, high value? When you look at it, they usually present it and they'll tell you what it is that they're looking at most. So you can use the department heads as a guide.
absolutely, if I may just add on that. Usually what happens is a department head, they've submitted to you 50 projects that they deem as very important, but they might only highlight 10 of their projects in their presentation of, this is what's absolutely important to us. So you know right off the bat, because they only presented those 10, those are the highest priority. You should still continue to score everything else, even if they don't necessarily address it. And then you kind of dependent on the description. But if they don't address it and you've looked at it, you can always ask them when they present, oh, you didn't go over this one, can you go over that project? And they'll highlight everything for you, so.
They are also very good at taking you for a tour. If you haven't been up to Waterworks and seen what they do, if you want to get a better understanding, you'll find that the leaders of these departments are open like that. So there's a lot of a learning curve that could happen.
Yes, sir.
Going to this sheet that has the scores from the previous year, or this year's current year, I noticed the score is 130. And I only see enough people on the board to score 100 if I say everybody counted to 10 on the project. So that gives me 100, so how does 30 more points?
Because, may I?
I don't care.
I have understood over time that this is actually not just this, but a good level of participation would have 11 people on it.
So the overall board has 10 members.
Right.
So every member has 25 points to put towards a project. So you could potentially have all 250 points or whatever it is for each project. Kathy will see when she gets the score sheets, there are gonna be significant people who, or not, I shouldn't say significant, but there's probably 1 or 2 people that will at least put zeros down, a lot of them, and they'll score 25s on the ones that they're very passionate about.
But there should be no zeros, right?
But there really should be no zeros. Everything really should have something. It kind of defeats the purpose if you put a 0, but people do it.
So when we score, forgive me for being a newbie here.
No, absolutely.
Is it 0 or 10, or is it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Yeah,
1 through 0 through 25, and it's your heart content anywhere in there of how you've decided to get to that 25. Kathy had the score criteria, and you got 10 points for the infrastructure, 10 points for the public need, and 5 points for public liability. And it is really subjective to you personally on how you have classified that out in your own mind of that is 25 points, or that is 17 points, or I am just not impressed with that project, 0,
what? 3.
or 3. But, yeah, you shouldn't really have a 0, but, because it does have a need, because obviously whoever put it on that list has a need for it.
I know you guys said that, so they'll come in and do their presentations, and they're not gonna do their presentations on everything, so do you ask the questions based on what's left? If you're not sure, you know,
If you're not sure, if they didn't go over something or something was not, ask them.
Okay.
They're more than happy to go over everything with you.
but there's no second opportunity for that.
But
It's
there's
that-
no,
Okay.
you got the one opportunity when they're right there. I mean, you can go down there and talk to them and ask them yourself,
Sure, yeah.
but in the meeting, there's only that one opportunity.
Okay,
Because your, committee ranking isn't done till November 2nd. So in that time, if you meet with a nice police department or a nice public works, and you do have questions, or water, which is their own enterprise fund, but still a fascinating tour, then you get a better understanding of it. So what you do in your own care and your personal research is what affects how you'll feel about your scoring.
I mean, if Public Works went over a project and you're like, oh, that's really interesting, and you leave the meeting, and the next day you call Public Works and you're like, is Ben Crawford still down there? And you call him up and you're like,
No, use water.
yeah, water, I think I said water. Anyways, if you call him up and you're like, oh, can you give me a tour or show me what you're talking about? I'm sure he would be more than happy to let you come down and take a look. And if you haven't been down to the water department, it's an incredible facility.
Okay.
It's worth calling just to go for a tour.
okay, thank
So,
you.
they take super pride down there of that facility.
I
And
haven't
the-
taken that, I'm sorry, I haven't taken that tour. Who did you say we should call?
Ben Crawford.
Ben Crawford, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
They would be more than happy to show off
I would
their
love
amazing facility
Do
down there.
that. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Sir, did that answer your question for the scoring?
I'm a guessing. Not quite sure.
That's the whole game anyways.
Because I don't, is the 25 points, the 10, and the 5? That's
Right.
the
Combined,
25.
yep.
And so each project, we write on infrastructure improvement, we can do up to 10 points for infrastructure improvement. And then is that infrastructure improvement a public need? Then if it's yes, then we can vote up to 10 points for that. And then if it's a public liability, we can vote up to 5 points for that.
Correct.
And that's done on each project.
Right, so it's gonna be the cumulative sum of all of that, so if we all scored 25 for project A, and then there was a 17, it would be the sum of that for the total score. So, but you notice that none of them ever score that high.
No, I mean, 130 points doesn't seem like a lot of points.
And then, I mean,
10 people
yeah,
with a scoring ability of 25 per person, so.
and then you look at the water department, and they had, their lowest scoring one was 19. So,
Now, because of previous iterations of this board, some people were cautious that they would be called out for how they scored it. So it's really all blind scoring. It's an all blind thing. They don't call out and say, well, you didn't like my boardwalk improvements at the Weirs. So it's all blind scoring. They're never going to know. Am I correct on
Correct.
this?
None of the other board members are gonna know what you scored something. Kathy's gonna compile the list, and then at our last review of the rankings, we have an ability as the board to be like, well, we collectively don't think this one scored should be as low as it did, and we're gonna adjust that. Or we think that number one scored too high and we wanna knock that down a peg. And that is totally within our purview to do. So, the scoring is the tool that's leading us to the most fair way.
Okay.
Does that about sum it up, Kathy?
I think it does.
Okay.
Very well.
Any
So then
questions?
do we,
Not yet.
after we've heard all the presentations and we've had all the public input, then we go home and do our homework, which is doing the scoring.
Yep,
And then we have another meeting to where we have discussion.
correct.
After the public
After she's
thing.
compiled it all, and she's gonna print out another one of these with the scores attached, how they were.
Well,
totaled
you're
in
just
the
gonna get,
score.
you're just gonna get this
We're
one,
gonna get this.
Gonna get this,
right.
okay.
And then, but it's correlated with a number that matches your department printout.
Okay, and then it's gonna have a score, and then it's gonna have the ranking.
Right, because the rank will be based off of where it fell on the total score.
And then as a board, we discuss that to see as a board and not an individual, if that's what we all agree on.
Yep.
Because as a board, then we can move things around if we so choose.
Yep.
Even though the score might be different, we can,
You
Yep.
can juggle it.
as a board, can juggle it. Okay, now it's becoming a little clearer
Yep.
mud.
And then we're gonna vote on that come the end of it, and we're gonna send that to planning board, and planning board is gonna make the final, we recommend this to the city council.
Okay,
Do we,
Then it goes to the city manager and they just X out everything they don't care about and on to the rest of it.
But we had a lot of fun meeting.
But we had a lot of fun, we learned a lot of stuff, and we're active participants in our
It's very
government.
interesting.
Which, without mockery or jocularity, I appreciate seeing new faces here. And, it really asks the questions anybody will be glad to answer.
No, this is the most fun board I have ever been on. I mean, you have a true opportunity to ask any question you want to these department heads, and they'll be honest with you about this is why we did this or this is why we didn't do that. So, take the opportunity as best you can to learn whatever you want to learn.
Excuse us.
Locked out of school
Yeah,
on that
locked
door.
out.
Sorry.
so when it goes to planning board, do the planning board members on this committee, we still vote on it, or do we have to abstain because we were part of
No.
the committee?
Nope, we're gonna vote on it again as
Oh,
planning
okay.
board members, yep.
All right.
So you get a couple votes on it.
Oh, boy.
Are all you
Couple
guys
good
so
looks.
cool you're on planning board and I'm really in the backwater of ZBA?
Which one you were?
Unbelievable.
Mike, you've been on that zoning board forever now.
But they said,
Usually I have a name.
you're the ranking member,
okay,
if
me
I'm not
too.
mistaken.
I think so.
All right.
No,
so you know Michael.
no, I have,
A little bit.
He's my neighbor.
All right, does anybody else have any questions about discussion of the process, organization of the meeting? Anything else?
All the meetings are at 6:30,
And here.
be
And
here,
here.
be square.
Yep.
Next 4 weeks.
Yep, and come with a smile on your face, because we don't take any pouty faces here.
It's, I find the whole process interesting.
Yeah, I know, we're almost
End of the
there.
week, all you get left is Friday, I mean, should be looking forward to it.
No Fridays.
are there any questions? Would you entertain a motion to adjourn?
I sure would.
Motion to adjourn.
All right,
Second.
we are adjourned at 7:02.
All in favor?
Bye. See you next
Pleasure
week.
meeting you all.
This will be the shortest meeting of all.
Forewarned, this was the shortest meeting.
This is the shortest. This will not happen again.
We have to worry about an hour and a half, public comment section, or?
I just love
No, probably not. It'll be cool.
hearing all the
Most often, when I worked for the city, we had the public hearing. Nobody